Hey guys, welcome back to Comfy Cozy Up, and today is day 29 and the word of the day is consistency for a journal mood, and that is definitely a word that we all struggle with something. But I would say I've gotten used to having a routine, but I need to work on my gym part. So that's my goal for 2025. So alright, this video, what are we going to talk about? Romance. Now, on a serious level, I started 2024 grieving. My father passed, and I think because I wanted to feel some form of emotion that is more on the love side, that's more on the happy side, that's just making me not think about heavy things, I was drawn to romance, and I read a lot of romance this year. I've read so far, I think my total is 110 books. Still don't know how I did that. And of those books, 56 were romance. And there were different kind of romance. There were romance that was not traditional. There was romance that was very much action-packed, had some, thriller aspects to it. And there were the sweet romance. But overall, I wanted romance that, because I feel like I don't have to do a lot of thinking about sad things. And it helped me. That genre absolutely helped me this year to function, to not cry all the time, to not think about the what ifs. And so I appreciate that these authors wrote stories that took my time, my attention. There's two particular authors that I read the most of, 14 books. One is 14, I think the other one maybe been 16 books, and that's Christina C. Jones and Gray Huffington. But I'm also discover other authors that weren't previously on my list. And so can't complain about that. So let me get it together and we can start talking about this. So I had to drink some water because I needed to make sure I could get through this story. I am feeling much better, but I still get congested sometimes when I talk too much. So here are my top 5. Now, I should probably have done a top 10 this year, but I've always done a 5, and I was like, I'm not going to change the routine up. But the top 5 was very hard for me to do this year. Absolutely hard for me to get to the top 5 this year. And I cheated a little, but I'll tell you where I cheated at. So then we're going to start with 5, and that is Maestro by Arden Dar. I never heard this author ever. And this is, as of today, the longest romance book I have ever read in my life. It is over 700 pages. And this book took a little while to read because it was so long, but it's a journey. And why I love this book, as somebody who is a lover of art, of crafting, of having a passion for making things. I love to make things, whether I'm sewing or just making my junk journal. And I find that sometimes my desire to do what I'm passionate about and even read a good book can interfere with my desire to be in love or attaching myself to someone. And I feel like in this book, it shows how somebody can be so gifted and have a passion that one can't do without the other. So you have these musicians, and in this case, it's a man who is very much a gifted musician, a gifted composer. And at a young age, he met a young girl. They were both young. I believe they were around 13 or so. And they had this passion for music. One came from the wealthy side, the man, and the female, of course, wasn't quite. And but their family issues is what really drive them in different directions. But music was always there. And in this case, the male character, the female in this, she was also his muse. So both are something he needed. He needed to think about her, to imagine her, to look at her, to hear her, to be able to perform well and create this beautiful music. But it shows that oftentimes that love for what you're passionate about and the love for a person can be a struggle in itself. Like, how can you hold on to both, and what happens if one is affected? And you see it happen different ways, where the ability to create music was affected in this story, and there's at one point the ability to be with that person was affected, and how they deal with it. It is a complicated story. It is a growing pain story, because they're from children to adults, and there's that back and forth and things that they allow to get into their way, but most of it still wrapped up into music and their passion for music in different ways. I feel more for the female character in this, because she lost her way along of our passion and what she wanted to do at some point. That's a radiator, guys. Just I don't know. It's just sad that it's gonna show up at the fool right now in the middle of me talking. Yeah, I'm still in New York, guys. I don't know nothing about this where I'm at in the mountain. Alright, just disregard the noise. So I was so wrapped up in this story, and I love every bit of it. It's really, really good, and I am really a big fan of this storyline. And it's because it's so long, there's different stuff about this I can talk about. There is very much some frustrated moments in this, but I still love this. And I think because I'm such a huge fan of the arts and people following their passion and how they're able to maintain a relationship with that, because I'm that person. I will give up certain things to go sit down at my sewing machine. So I get it. So, all right. So then we have Just for the Summer, and this is by Abby Mendez. And let me tell you, I was so smitten by this book because it was not the traditional romance that I will read, but it was so well done. It is not very spicy at all. It is very much it is very much like that romance that you are going to have that long journey with, and you just love the character. So basically what this is about is two individuals that just don't have any luck when it comes to dating, and every person that they've been with, when they break up with them, the next relationship they fall in, they end up marrying the person. So they feel like they're good luck and they're cursed at the same time. So they decided they had on this like social media thing, and they realized that they had something in common. So they decided to cancel each other out by dating each other. So there's that fake dating aspect, and maybe when they decide to end whatever they're trying to do, that the next person they meet will be their one. They will have the same kind of experience or luck as their exes. However, this is painful, and I have no other time to record this, guys. Bear with me. So I might have to put some music in the back of this. I might have to. So then, you know what happens with fake dating when you really start getting to know each other. Things happen, and you realize this person is for you. Yeah, that's this. The third book is an author that I've read so far 2 books from them. And I realized I'm starting to like this one. So this is a new to me author, and this is Somebody's Wife by Robbie Renee, and I am a fan of this author. Anybody that can take a book that the idea of it can be a turnoff, but still do a really good job with it, that you find that you like the storyline, you like how it's leading. So this is a woman who is in a marriage that is just full of infidelity and things that happen, real things that happen in this, but it's stuck because of the whole idea of protecting the trifling husband until certain things. She met now another man during interview process, and they started a friendship. So it becomes infidelity in a way where it's not sexual, but it's more of intimacy in terms of somebody who you communicate with and you talk to. And even though at first it might seem like a little bit like, ugh, but when you learn the circumstance that she's in, you rooting for them. You're rooting for them, and you're seeing how this author took this story but made it make sense, made it beautiful, even though it could easily have been messy. And I think that's why I was really appreciative of this book in a way that I didn't think I was going to like it that much, but I really did like it. And it stuck with me. I've read this early in the summer, maybe a couple months now. And I still remember even at the very end, there's that moment at the very end, and the things that were said, but that the husband said that was intentionally to hurt someone. And I love how the other guy in this handled it. And I remember just thinking, yeah, some women need that. And there's some women who are in really messy situation and they have to deal with that. Alright, so number 2 is a cheat, because I couldn't pick. And this is, I just feel like you need to read the whole series. Just read the whole series. It's 4 books in the series. Read them all. And that is the Berkeley Boys. So we have Malachi, we got Milo, we got Makai, and we have Mercer. I thought about it and I said, if I had to pick, I still got narrowed down to 2 books in the series that I felt like were the best, and that is Mercer and Makai. I couldn't pick between those 2. I really couldn't. And I felt like Gray Huffington did this to me, because I'm like going through this and I said, if I put them on there, I would just probably put my whole top 5 would be a Huffington. Well, no, not the number 1, but the 4 books would have been Huffington. So I'm just gonna cheat and just say, you know what, read the series. Just read the series, because I can't pick. And so, but this follows 3 brothers and whose parents had died in a very dramatic, tragic way, where the mother had mental illness and she was in a mental institution. The father could not stand her being there, and he felt like he could help her, took her out, and she had an episode where she unalived him and then herself. And these young boys now having to grow up with that memory, especially one of them who saw that. And you see how what direction they went. One, some went to the streets, and one took an academic way. And each are grieving something. Each are seeing what their decision had caused them. In case of Malachi, whose wife was unalive and he didn't know why, but he knows something to do with his lifestyle, and he had to deal with that kind of grief while raising a young little girl who's not going to have any memories of her mother because she was about 6 months. Then you have the second one who knows that because of his lifestyle he would never date, but still that one woman come in his life, and that moment where he felt he couldn't protect her for something that had nothing to do with him, but her past, and what he was willing to do to protect her, even if he had to leave her and not be with her. And that was another beautiful moment. Then we have Milo, and you have Milo, who is the youngest, but he's also the one that took the academic role. Psychologist, and he just wanted, his mission is to help a lot of people, because he felt like his mother didn't get the proper help, she didn't get the proper medication, she didn't get everything she needed. And he's such a hawk when it comes to his brothers, because he always felt like perhaps one of them might have inherited what his mother had. And he's not really good at dating, and he's had this woman in his life since he was in college and strung her along, but they made a decision to do something that they have to deal with, and they realize they have feelings and he has to deal with those feelings. But he's also very immature and didn't handle certain things well, but over time he got his things together. And you have Mercer, the one who took the fall for the family and gave up quite a few years of his life in prison, and comes out and want to follow his dream of opening up his own restaurant and you know, being that chef that he's, you know, he's good at, and get entangled with a woman who has a gift and a talent, but also has a husband who's willing to destroy it to get what he wants, and he has to deal with that. And he is that brother out of all of them that I love the most. But his storyline and Makai was just like a neck and neck to pick with. So I love this series. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. And it's one of those series that I feel like once you read the first one, you're going to want to read all four. And then my number one book, 5-star. I still not over this character. And that is Hostile Takeover by Christina C. Jones. I don't know what to say. I was so loving this book that I'm going to tell you guys, I read it twice. So this is a story about a woman who's a businesswoman, and she's taking over for her mother's business, and her father, whose hand is in the business, have made very bad decisions that is affecting whether that building is going to crash and burn. And how they're going to get over it is the fact that here comes this man that is sitting in the boarding room that she doesn't understand why he's there. But he owns the property that the business is sitting on. And in order for her to not lose her business, the family business, she has to marry him. Yeah. So you find out whether or not this husband that she's has to marry, this man, if he's a good person or not. Why did he agree to it? And then you are so discovering your father can also be your greatest enemy, and your brother, your protector. A little much on the reserve side, but you see another side of him and you appreciate it. This one had some action in it. This one had some very much romance in this. This one was so good that I was like, okay, Christina C. Jones, you got me now. You got me. And that's how I ended up reading like 14 of her books this year. 14 of her books. There's 2 others that's fire as well. There's a novella short story that I love, Curiosity. Oh, vampire. I was so for Christina C. Jones this year, and I love this book so much. And this book is also how I end up even reading Grey Huffington. I'm just being honest, because I really realized I love rich, dangerous men in books. I love that. In real life, absolutely not. Would I date this man in real life? Absolutely not. But I just love reading them in books. I love how these characters are just depicted in books. And I was here for it. It literally entertained me all year. I am like fist pumping how she is the ish when it comes to writing this form of romance. This is not for everybody, but if you like edgy romance, edgy male character, the alpha male character, the take charge person that got a little sketchy self to him, you are for this book. And I am such a good person of not realizing that, you know, I need a little spice. like sometimes I'm boring. Like I'm bored. And I'm like, but I'm also like so reserved that I would never think to even date some of these men in these books that I really love. But it is what it is. You know, maybe 2025. I don't know. Lord, because this dating pool out here sucks. But anyway, let me stop rumbling. But that is it, guys. That is my top 5. Let me know what was your favorite romance this year. I mean, honorary mention is, let's do some honorary mention that I did not talk about. The Curvy Girl Summer from Danielle Allen was a good one. The Signature of Us Who wrote Signature of Us again? I don't even remember. Who wrote Signature of Us? I'll put it up. I'll put it up somewhere. Oh, Casey Mills. She's another author that I've read a couple of her books. Signature of Us, love that one as well. You know, I read some real 2-minute limits. There's some good romance that I've read that I love. That's not Christina C. Jones. Again, I read a lot of her books, but there were some other ones that I really love. So I would say, you know, this has been a really good year for romance, and I'm gonna keep it moving. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. What's your favorite romance? All right, guys. All right, bye.